What if your brokenness is the platform that God wants to speak through? You keep hiding your scars, but what if they're the very thing that God wants to use? In John 9, there was a man who was born blind, and the disciples asked Jesus, "Who sinned, this man or his parents?" And Jesus said, "It was neither that this man sinned nor his parents, but it was in order that the works of God might be displayed in him." So many of us walk through hurt, so many of us walk through pain, not knowing what comes next, not knowing what God intends for this situation. But what if God is about to use that situation to glorify him? In 2 Corinthians 12:9, it says, "And he has said to me, my grace is sufficient for you. My power is perfected in weakness." This verse is so powerful because it tells us that sometimes the worst parts of us, the parts that we don't want to give to God, the parts that we don't think can be of any use, are the exact things that God is going to use for us. How I like to think of it is, how are you going to have a testimony without tests? And if you think backwards, if you're having tests, it's so you can have a testimony. And I'm not saying that you need to go do hard things just to get a testimony. But whatever hard things, whatever painful things you go through, are all things that glorify God in the end. I really want you to recognize that. And another verse that talks about it, 1 Corinthians 1:27. "But God chose the foolish things of the world to shame the wise. God chose the weak things of the world to shame the strong." I find that so amazing, because what it feels like to me is that instead of seeing an end with the hurt we're going through, God sees a beginning. Through Jesus, instead of all of this pain and suffering turning into nothing and just ruining our lives, God can use it and turn it tenfold for the better in our life. And I really want you to think about this and really pray, what can you give to God? How can you fully give your life to God? Because he doesn't just take the best parts of you, he uses the worst parts of you. I want to leave you to think about that. And I hope you have a great night. If you ever want to talk, my messages are always open. Have a good night.